Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to talk to you about my experience teaching on iTalki. I have been working on iTalki for about 4 months and I've taught over 600 classes. So that's a lot of hours of teaching. For some context, I am working on there full time, so I do have a lot of hours available in the day, but it's still a lot, I know. I have some bullet points written down that I want to talk about, written down on a paper plate, so very professional. I'm not going to talk about everything because a lot of information can actually be found on their website. What I am going to talk about are things that you cannot find on the website, which is my experience. And I'm going to start by talking about the sign-up process. Okay, the sign-up process is fairly straightforward, but you need to make sure that you read what you need to do. For example, the first time I applied to teach on iTalki, I was actually rejected because my profile picture was not correct. And iTalki did not tell me, hey, look, can you give us a different picture? They just rejected my application. And after going back and forth with their customer service rep via email, he eventually told me what the problem was. My picture needed to be a close-up shot and mine was too far away. And then I had to submit a new application. It took an additional 2 weeks or so. 2 weeks that I could have been teaching and making money. So you need to read very carefully, but the requirements to teach on iTalki are not very strict. Okay, they do have a vetting process, but it's really easy. Honestly, from the day that you sign up to the day that you start teaching, takes about a month or so. I'd say anywhere between 3 to 6 weeks, just to be safe. It takes 10 days or so for your application to be approved or rejected. But once it is approved, you need to sign up for training with one of their representatives. And it took me, I think, if I recall, 3 weeks before I could find an available slot. And so it takes some time, but it's fairly straightforward. The next thing I want to talk about, okay, this is a question that I think a lot of people have because there are so many online teaching platforms out there and they promise you all these amazing things, a great hourly wage. Some of them even promise you $20 or $25 an hour and minimal requirements that you have to meet, and they tell you all your classes will be filled, but that is rarely the case, in my experience at least. You go through this lengthy process, you invest a lot of time and energy into it, and then you do not get your classes booked. On iTalki, however, you will get your classes booked. Okay, so I think that's the question many people have is, will my classes actually be filled? And on iTalki, yes. Okay, I can say from personal experience that they do get booked, especially in the beginning. Now, obviously, this depends on a few factors, such as what your price is, what you can offer students, how good of an introduction video you have, and a few other things, okay? But for the first few weeks, iTalki puts you on the recommended list, and you will show up on their homepage, I think most days for those first few weeks. So it was crazy because I had all these hours available on my schedule, and some days I was working 10, 11, even 12 hours a day. Okay, I think that's my record, 12 hours of teaching in a day. And it gets crazy. So all the hours that you have available to teach during those first few weeks, you will probably be teaching, okay? It's insane actually to think about it. And these first few weeks are very important because you need to make a connection with as many students as possible. You need them to become regular students because after those first few weeks, you are no longer on the recommended list. and it becomes much harder to attract new students. I still get a new student request, I'd say at least every week, sometimes every 2 weeks, but that's actually not a lot. Okay, most of the students that I have now, after 4 months of teaching on iTalki, are students who I met during those initial few weeks. So my advice is begin teaching on iTalki when you have a lot of time, because you need to teach a lot when you just start out. You need to attract as many students as possible and get them to book a package with you. A package is 5 lessons or more. No, 5 lessons. I think you can maybe even offer 10. Maybe, sorry, don't quote me on that, but I have a package available that is 5 lessons at a slightly discounted rate. Okay, then the next thing is the payment process. How do you get paid on iTalki? There are a few different ways that you can be paid, but they involve one of 2 platforms. Okay, either PayPal or Payoneer. I use Payoneer simply because I had a problem with my PayPal account. It got hacked a few months ago before I started teaching on iTalki, and so I just did not feel like creating a new account, and I signed up with Payoneer. I'm really happy I did that because Payoneer is extremely straightforward, and yeah, it's really easy to use. I think they take 2% if you are doing a currency conversion. For example, if I want to take my US dollar earnings on iTalki and put them into PayPal and then put that over into South African Rand, they will take 2%. And iTalki also takes $2 before you put the money over from iTalki to Payoneer. So you're looking at $2 and then 2% of what's left. I really hope that makes sense. But I like Payoneer. Honestly, I've had a good experience using it so far. If you want to use it, you can use the link in the description and sign up with them. Okay, then the next thing I want to talk about is how much should you charge for your lessons? Okay, bit of a controversial topic because some people think that teachers are charging too little on iTalki, and this is making it harder for people to earn money. Okay, let me explain this as best I can. There are so many different teachers on iTalki, and they are from countries all around the world. And different countries have different earning potential. For example, as an English teacher from South Africa, I am able to charge a lower hourly rate than an English teacher from New Zealand or America, Canada, or the UK or Australia. I can do that because the minimum wage in South Africa is so low. It's 20 Rand an hour. That's like 1 point something US dollars an hour. Okay, it's crazy. And if you are an unqualified, unskilled person in South Africa, then that's what you're going to earn if you work a 9-to-5 job. So there's that, and there's also the fact that the cost of living in South Africa is very low compared to these first world countries. So you see a lot of South African teachers on iTalki charging a very low hourly rate. And you get the same thing with other languages. For example, French. Okay, you have teachers from Western Africa charging much less for their French classes compared to teachers from France. And the same for Spanish. Okay, you have teachers from South America charging much less than teachers from Spain. And you have teachers from Brazil charging much less for Portuguese classes than teachers from Portugal. It's just how it is. Okay, so what you charge for your classes completely depend on you. But you need to provide a service that justifies a higher price. So you have to be able to provide something like training for a test like IELTS or TOEFL or Cambridge, or if it's a different language like French, then you need to be able to train students for I think it's the self-exam. You need to provide something different, something other than just basic conversational classes. So yeah, that's basically all I can say on that. Then let me just see, the last thing I have written down here is types of classes. That's what I wrote down, and that just refers to the types of classes that you offer. Like I just said, you can do something very specific and offer training for a specific English exam and then charge a higher rate. But usually you see teachers do one of two things, or they do both. They do conversational classes and then they do structured lessons. The conversational classes are very simple. They are just a conversation between the teacher and the student. I love these classes because they are very easy to prep for, because there's basically no prep involved. You just need to have a bunch of speaking topics on standby. And then the other thing is the structured lessons. And during these lessons, I work through a textbook with the student, and we do listening, writing, reading, and speaking exercises. So all four. You can choose what you do. I'm not going to tell you what you need to teach, but yeah, it's completely up to you. So guys, I hope this video makes sense. I hope you learned something about iTalki and that it helps. Okay, I'm having a good time. Like I said, it's only been 4 months, but I've taught so many hours. I've met incredible people from all around the world, doctors and lawyers and even a politician. So it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, let me know what your experience has been. Please write me a comment. I will read it. I will reply if you ask me a question. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.